Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on how Afriforum, the Institute of Race Relations, and the DA and other small organizations are taking the government to court to ensure that the Expropriation Act is declared unconstitutional. Now, it's been going on this week. I think it ends on Friday. But the elephant in the room is that the DA is part of this case, and yet the first respondent in this case is the Minister of Public Works, which is a DA minister, Dean Macpherson. What is also glaringly obvious here is that the minister has not come out as the first respondent to give his opinion on the Expropriation Act. Now, the judges have come out and asked questions surrounding that, and we'll get into that just now. But before we do, please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide, and don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free, it won't cost you anything, and it'll be greatly appreciated. All right, let's have a quick squiz. So this article is brought to you by SABC, and it reads here: the constitutional challenge to the Expropriation Act took a dramatic turn in the Western Cape High Court as tensions within the Government of National Unity appeared to spill into the courtroom. Judges questioned why Public Works Minister Dean Macpherson, who is cited as the first respondent in the Democratic Alliance application, did not file papers setting out his legal position on legislation that his department will ultimately be responsible for implementing. Instead, Macpherson filed an explanatory affidavit indicating he would abide by the court's decision while remaining available to assist on legal issues if called upon. However, the bench questioned whether that amounted to a political rather than a legal decision. Judge Vincent Saldana says, "Well, we would certainly like to know what the minister's position is on the merits, but it's not in our mouths to force him to tell us. That's his election to make. All we've pointed out is that he's a member of the executive, he's firmly involved in this act and the eventual application of it. He really doesn't want to express a view on the merits, which I suspect may not necessarily be a legal decision, it might be a political decision." And that right there is the elephant in the room. The fact that the DA is taking themselves to court, because the DA wants to remain in the GNU, but they do not want to have the uncomfortable conversations with Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC within the GNU. Think about this. The minister that has to implement the Expropriation Act is part of the DA that is taking themselves to court as the government, because they form part of the Government of National Unity. And as you can clearly see here, Dean Macpherson has decided that his position and his title is more important than actually getting rid of the Expropriation Act. Do you want to tell me that as the first respondent, where once again Dean Macpherson can come out and clearly state what is wrong with this act, instead of doing that, he's doing nothing? Do you want to tell me that that's not going to harm the court case? This is reminiscent of John Steenhuisen sitting in the White House and given a golden opportunity to tell the most powerful person in the world what the ANC's been doing and did nothing. Now, explain to me how this is any different. We've got an act here that is one of the most destructive acts to ever be implemented in our law, and the minister is deciding political expediency because he's a minister and he doesn't want to lose that position. Now, it's not just Dean Macpherson, it is the Democratic Alliance. They could have said, you know, out of our moral principles, we are going to remove this minister because this minister has to implement the Expropriation Act, and we as the DA do not want to be associated with that. Instead, their minister is now there and has to implement this act. So what happens if the court decides that the Expropriation Act is constitutional? What is the DA going to do then? What is Minister Dean Macpherson going to do then? These are the questions that you, as the voter, need to ask the DA. Why has the minister, when given a golden opportunity to tell the court why this is not the most horrendous act to ever be implemented in our democracy, he decides to just say he will abide by whatever the court decides? Now, we can argue on whether or not it's going to hurt the case or not, but once again, a golden opportunity to expose the ANC has gone to the wayside, just like it did with John Steenhuisen. So to everybody out there that wants to always argue and fight with me and say, oh, I'm so obsessed with the DA. Well, here the DA is literally causing a negative effect in the court and also not standing up for their voters. Did they not say before the election that they were going to fight the Bella bill, they were going to fight the EWC bill, and they were going to fight the NHI bill? And now that all three of those are acts, two of those three have DA ministers that are in charge of it. We've got Siviwe Garube that's in charge of the Bella Act. Remember how much they said they were going to fight against that? Well, the minister is now happily implementing the Bella Act. And not only that, pretty much rewriting history, getting rid of Jan van Riebeeck out of the history books. And here we've got Dean Macpherson, who's the Minister of Public Works, that have to implement the Expropriation Act, not saying anything when given the opportunity to do so. Now, please tell me that that is not a contradiction. Tell me that that is not a blatant lie that the DA told their voters. And you can call me whatever you want, but the facts are on the table. When John Steenhuisen had an opportunity to say something in the White House, he said nothing. When Dean Macpherson had a golden opportunity to say something about the Expropriation Act, he said nothing. When Siviwe Garube had a golden opportunity to condemn the Bella Act, she implemented it. The facts are here on the table. It's whether or not you will allow yourself to question the party that you voted for. Because ultimately, if they can't even keep to their election promises, why are you trusting them? Why do you believe them this time around? Is it because they're going to deliver this time around? It's absolute nonsense, and you know better. So the next time you want to blame ANC or EFF or MK loyalists for being blind supporters of the party, if you are a DA voter, please explain to me how you are any different by allowing this. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. However, if you'd like to financially contribute, you can give a super thanks by clicking on the $ below and choosing an amount. Or you can become a member of this channel by clicking the join button below. And that's all I got to say. See you later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.